thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate your support, and we hope that you really obtain and get some good information regarding to access to capital by Jose Ed Ramos, who's a senior, he's the senior area manager in the SBA office in North Florida out of Orlando. Is that correct, Ed?
Yes, that's correct. Until I win the Powerball, and then you will see my tail lights on the distance as I head out towards Hawaii or some other little island in the Pacific.
Yeah. Well, you got a little island called Puerto Rico. Why don't you go there?
Oh, no, yeah. I will visit Puerto Rico, but I want to visit places that I've never been before. So that's part of my bucket list.
That's for sure. I agree with you. I hear you. About 12. What? I'm in two rather. I'm sorry. Just get the show on the road.
Yeah, let's
we did
do
get
it.
Let's do it. We did get some RSVPs, so good numbers. So let's just go with the show. Let's just start with the show. All right. So I open this meeting now. My name is Luis De Rosa. I'm with the Puerto Rican Chamber of South Florida, based in Miami. I also work with Dynamic Community Corporation and 501c3 Economic Development Corporation, and we manage several projects and programs. And I'm happy to also introduce the gentleman who's going to be running and talking about the benefits and the opportunities through the SBA Access to Capital program, Jose Ed Ramos, who's the senior area manager for SBA North Florida District Office. I've met him many years when we were doing the summit in Central Florida, and he represented obviously SBA in that district, in that market, and has done an excellent job as well. But I do have a committee that works with me besides myself and besides Jose Ramos. I have called the Gonzalez team. They're starting with Hernan Gonzalez and Daniel Gonzalez and Monica Gonzalez. I wanted to thank them for their service throughout the year. They've been with us for a number of years, and we appreciate the support. Obviously, this support is for you, the small business owner, the small business community. We want you to really, avail yourself of these programs that are available, and they're all free until you qualify, of course, like everything else in life, right? Also, I wanted to thank David, my good friend, who's the chairman of the Greater North Miami Chamber of Commerce, who's doing an outstanding job in North Miami and North Dade and all throughout the counties. And he's doing an excellent job in terms of providing services to the small business community. And you can imagine a lot of this is available to all, and it's free. And you just got to be dedicated and be committed, and wait it out. And if you qualify, you make it happen. We just had a Google luncheon meeting here in Miami on artificial intelligence, and they came down from Washington and from New York, and it was a great meeting just not too long ago. And we're going to include this artificial intelligence, the next frontier, at the annual summit, Building Bridges, which will take place on October 9th, 2026 in the Wynwood Art District in Miami, Florida. And with small business workshops, AI, artificial intelligence, banks such as TD Bank will be with us as well. Know Your Banker, of course, increasing opportunity between the markets of Puerto Rico and South Florida. We can't forget our island, and there's a market for us to work with. Is just knowing the right people and having made the right connection. And this is a special program that SBA is going to be introducing, and it started now. It's called the Patriot Pitch Competition for small businesses. And there's a lot of money available, a lot of opportunities available for those that qualify and who can get into this competition as a small business. Obviously, you have to be in business for 3 years or more, in good standing in terms of your all your permits and your obviously your internal revenue. It's got to be really clear that there'd be no issues with that. But it is a good program, and it's free. And we're going to be sending that information out to everyone. Dave, I'm going to share it with you so you can share it with your people, because this is really interesting. It's up to $1 million in grants are going to be awarded for those that participate and win this competition. Now, I leave it to my good friend Jose Ed Ramos, who will be making the presentation, how SBA can help finance your business. Thank you, Ed Ramos, and please welcome him.
Thank you, Luis. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the nice introduction. My name is, as Luis said, is Ed Ramos, and I work for the Small Business Administration, otherwise known as SBA. And the topic today is access to capital. And let's see here if I can. Okay. So in this slide, which is mandatory, you can see the management in the White House and the SBA administrators. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time because I'm sure that everyone is familiar with the current administration. This is our regional leadership for the SBA, Southeast United States. Our regional administrators, Tyler, Teresa. In my district director is Jonelle Hine, but the district director in South Florida is John Richards, Malcolm Richards. So I have included the phone numbers in case you want to contact them and sing praise about all the good work that our people are doing in the field. And if you want to send them an email, the email address convention used in SBA is first name dot last name at sba.gov. So it will be jonelle.hine at sba.gov or john.richards at sba.gov.
Jose,
Yes,
you're
sir.
cutting out. You're breaking up. You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Okay, it could be
You're
my,
breaking up. So just,
yeah, it could be my internet connection.
yeah, okay.
So please bear with me.
Sure. Thank you.
So next slide. So this is what I intend to cover today and the amount of time that was assigned to us. I want to talk to you about the background of the SBA and the different programs that we have available. The documents required to pursue a loan, Q&A. I have asked the organizers to try to mute the phones. So if you have not been muted, please do so at this time. And if you have any questions, please use the chat function and insert your question in there, and we'll address that at the end of the presentation. Okay, so SBA was created in 1953, and let me just make a point clear that I was an employee at that time, so I'm not over 70 years old, although some people call me grandpa. I don't know why. Our mission has not changed that much from the beginning. The mission is to help American small businesses owners to start, grow, and reach for their dreams, and to provide assistance to recover after a disaster. So we have four major program areas that can be described in red in the slide: business education and training, and we have a number of partners that deliver assistance with their own resources, and we do things organically within the SBA, and we partially fund them. Includes the Florida Small Business Development Center if you're in Florida, or the Small Business Development Center, which has presence in all the states and territories. The SCORE group, which are volunteer mentors. The Women Business Centers, which are represented here, and we have 4 or 5 centers in the state of Florida. And then we have one Veteran Business Outreach Center in the Florida Panhandle, and they project their services virtually. We also have a program for access to capital, which provides guaranteed loans, the 7A, 504, and the microloans. We also have surety bonds and the Small Business Investment Center funding, otherwise known as SHARCS. We also do certification and procurement. We manage 4 certification pipelines: the 8A program, Hudson program, the Women-Owned Small Business program, and the Service Disabled Veteran Small Business program. And we also provide guidance and advice to the federal agencies on small business procurement. And that's a topic that we will consider again in the future through this venue. And then we have a mission directly tied into recovery after a disaster, where we do direct lending for businesses, nonprofits, homeowners, renters, and we also have the disaster EIDL. Maybe some people in the call received a COVID EIDL loan during the pandemic. So we do manage those, and we can provide assistance with those needs. In this chart here, the slide, you can see the partners that we currently fund. That, as I mentioned, if you haven't, uh, I would say try to Google the organization's name and use the phrase SBA programs near me. You will get the addresses that are useful to you in the state of Florida. The Florida SBDC, the Small Business Development Center program, is our largest entrepreneur development program with over 20 locations and over 200 plus staff employees. Then we have the SCORE program, which I mentioned is run by volunteers. They don't get paid, but they want to be, get back to the community, and they can offer mentoring, which is valuable to anyone that's starting or growing their business. And then we have the women business centers. They provide specialized training and assistance for women, although we don't discriminate, and anyone that walks in the door will receive assistance from them. And of course, the Veterans Business Outreach Center, because we have a commitment to help veterans, spouses, dependents, and survivors that want to start a business. And all what these partners do is they complement the services that we offer by the two district offices that we have in the state of Florida, one located in Jacksonville and the other one located in Miami. And then we have smaller offices like the one that I have in Orlando. I'm a one-person shop. So, um, so when you're looking for access to capital, uh, you also need to have a team of experts that supports your growth and your operation throughout the life cycle of the business. And we call that the bail team, not because you're going to jail, but because you need assistance from a banker, an accountant, an insurance agent, and a lawyer. And they understand all of the ins and outs of business operations, and they can provide guidance for your specific business needs. So if you're currently operating your business without a bail team, you can uh, you need to assemble one as soon as possible, or you can visit one of our resource partners, SBDC, SCORE, Women Business Centers, or Veterans Business Outreach Center, and they can become your go-to resources for those questions that you need to ask. Usually, if you hire an external consultant to do these functions, you can expect to pay anywhere between $100 to $250 per hour for the consulting services. And usually, many of these consultants, they offer you a minimum contract of 5 hours per month. So you'll be paying a lot of money, and by using our resources, you can get that assistance free of charge. You're paying indirectly with your taxes, which revert to the SBA, and then we pass that funding into the partners. So in this slide, you can see in red that the SBA regular program does not make direct loans. And I have to explain that we don't do that because Congress, which gives us the marching orders, does not allow us to make direct loans because they feel that we don't want to compete with the private sector. But what we do is we work with lenders to participate with the SBA, and they themselves are the ones who lend the funds. So you will need to apply with them, and they will consider your application under our SBA guidelines, and then they can service the loan until you either pay it in full or you have the misfortune of having a default, which in that case, the loan will be remanded back to the SBA, and then we will continue servicing or liquidating the assets. We don't have any grant monies available for small businesses. I get that question all the time, and that's basically a myth that was created in the 1980s by an individual that was marketing his company and selling a book, and he used to wear a coat with a lot of question mark uh, of in the on that, and he was selling his book for, I believe, was 1995 a pop. And a lot of people bought that thinking that they will be able to get some free money from the SBA, but over the years we have used whatever funds we had available to provide those to the partners so they can provide more services to individuals that are growing their business. And we did have a short duration grant program under the pandemic where we offer amounts of $10,000 and $5,000 to individuals that were applying for assistance. But those programs had an expiration date, and the money ran out. So there's actually no money, but there are other ways that you can get grants. You may want to talk to your chamber. You may want to visit your public library. Uh, you may want to sign up for some of the courses that our resource partners like SCORE offer, where they can show you how you can go about trying to convince some of the larger businesses to give you money so that you can get your little grant to keep your business operating. So the SBA is as an agency, is geared towards for-profit small businesses. So we cannot do, by statutory requirement, we cannot do large businesses, and we can only work with a for-profit entity. So if you are a nonprofit or a large business, the regular program of guarantee lending will not be able to help you because it's unavailable to you. There may be some assistance that we can offer under the disaster program, and I'll try to address that in coming slides. Because we're dealing with federal funds and we have experienced lots of issues with agencies committing fraud, our guidelines to the banks that offer the SBA guarantee is that they need to obtain a personal loan guarantee and offer collateral if available. And just so that you know, we don't guarantee 100% of the loans. We have percentages of guarantee that we offer if the individual qualify. And then we have some entities that are not eligible for SBA capital assistance, and those are specifically written in our regulations, and that mandate comes down from the U.S. Congress. Okay, so here we can see that most small businesses are funded from loans, because that's the 35% amount that is in the mustard yellow color. And the numbers they show on the graph, 30% are funded through personal savings, what we call bootstrapping, 25% funded through other sources, including credit cards, friends, families, or government grants and things like that. 35% are funded through debt, meaning banks or credit unions and other loans that they may take. And 10% are funded through equity investments, meaning that you go to an angel or venture capital or shark or some crowdfunding individual that may be able to provide the funding. And I'll try to address that in subsequent slides. Here you can see three common reasons businesses need funding. First, they have experienced cash flow challenges, and those are going to be the most common issues that many of you will face. Usually those challenges are due to improper planning or improper execution of the business operation, and therefore you think that you have all the resources to be able to operate, but you come short on your cash forecast. There may be cash needed due to capital investments. You may have to spend a large portion of the money that you borrow on capital investments because your plan was not vetted, for example, by an engineer, or you didn't analyze all the investment required to make your business zoning ordinance or the equipment you quoted. And there may be some increases that you did not foresee coming, and now you need additional funding to be able to pay for those capital improvements. And then the third reason why businesses startups need funding, it could be due to product development cycles. You think that for example, your homegrown developed AI software, artificial intelligence software, is ready for the market, but it is not. In order to fine tune the product, you need to hire or contract a full-time software engineer because your product is not yet turnkey ready, but you already pushed that out. So now you have to do a lot of software updates. Or you may think your restaurant dish is ready to be unveiled, and that's going to bring thousands of people hoping to taste that special meal. But your food preparation experience is not consistent because you didn't prepare step-by-step recipe that your assistant cook can follow while you tend to the front of the restaurant. So there may be many reasons why you need additional funding, but proper preparation is the most important one, and we can help you if you make use of the resource partners that we have available so that you can try to anticipate all those needs and your plan is as complete as possible when you go in and look for the funding. Here we can see potential sources of capital and the difference between debt and equity financing. So debt financing comes from a lender, usually a bank, and is paid back with interest. So that means that you're looking at a loan. Equity financing is a cash injection where an investor exchange gives you money for partial ownership of your business. And that may be the solution for some individuals that want to grow their business very fast. But other individuals, they want to have business ownership, and they don't want the micromanagement or the person looking over the shoulder all the time and putting pressure on them. Certainly, I didn't appreciate that when I have my own business. So when you use equity to raise funds for the business, control of the business is shared with the investor, or otherwise known as the shark, that is putting money in and wants to pay back as soon as possible. And to make matters worse, the shark is looking over your shoulder 24/7. So he's going to crank up, or she is going to crank up the heat to make you produce as your plan claim that you will be producing. If you're funding your business via equity, you will need an accountant and a lawyer from the Bail team as essential advisors throughout the process because the numbers need to make sense and you need to be very careful ensuring that you generate all the monies that you think you're going to generate. Remember that if you don't have those resources available, you can always ask one of our partners, SBDC, Women Business Center, Veterans Business Outreach Centers, etc., so they can provide assistance. They can provide help on a temporary basis, but they will tell you that you need to develop those relationships and attend. You can also use them to attend their networking events, meet other companies, and develop your sphere of influence. And those professionals that you meet in those groups could be part of your permanent bail team to help your company and move to the next step. Preparing to raise capital. If you are already beyond this step, please bear with me. There may be participants in the call that need this information. Step one, you need to know how much money you really need, not just ask how much money can you lend me. When you ask that question, the lenders get a a feeling that you don't know, you're not in control, that you didn't plan correctly. When you know exactly the amount that you need, the potential funder understands you did your due diligence and that you have all the justification in black and white in the form of a business plan and or financial projections. And if buying an existing business, the tax returns and financial statements of the seller are in your hand and they justify the dollars that you're requesting. Step two, you should know which type of funding you will be pursuing. Uh, are you going to go for a loan or are you going to go for an investor? And then you need to have a strategy to approach the entities with the money and pitch to them to present to convince them to give you the money support that you need. Step three, what is your strategy to convince the bankers or investors? I can suggest that using the SBA programs, like we have a matching program called Lender Match, should be part of your strategy, as we have over 5,700 lenders with different appetites that know how the SBA guarantee lending program works, and they have done transactions with SBA, and they can move pretty fast. If you submit a request through Lender Match, you usually get a response between 48 to 72 hours. And then it's just they know your business, they have appetite, they have money. It's just a matter of putting all the right application and having the lender do their due diligence so that you can get your money to grow your business. You need to ask some questions by looking in the mirror. So only you know the answer to the questions. You should think about them as they will affect the type of financing that you may go after. How much money will you need to get the business up and running? Don't follow the example of others that go to a lender and when they're asked how much do they need, they say, well, how much can you give me? The borrowers answer, how much can you give me? This is a red flag to the lenders as itemizing all proceeds. Show that a borrower is prepared. So here in this slide, uh, we we try to identify or explain uh, that the majority of the businesses are started through using personal funds, friends and family, or bootstrapping. And skin in the game is needed because you need to inject your own money, and that shows to the lender that you're committed, you believe in the idea, and if you're willing to risk your own money, they will be willing to support you, or at least consider you for supporting you with a loan. No matter if you're looking for a bank loan or a private investor, you have to show that you have put up some capital in the venture. Uh, these sources are self-explanatory. Remember that I had an issue. Uh, I met an individual that was running for the U.S. Senate, and he wanted a group that I was associated with to believe in him. And I mean, he had a good pitch, but when I asked him how much of your own money are you willing to invest, he said, "Well, my wife doesn't want to invest the money because we want to use the contributors' money," and that's great. That we call that an SBA OPM, other people's money. You want to take risk with other people's money instead of your own money. And if your wife or your family or your mother or your father or your brother or your sister doesn't believe in you, how can the lender or an investor believe in you? Because they see the lack of commitment. Maybe they know you better than the rest, but by injecting your funds in the equation, then you can prove that you are really committed to success, at least to make it happen to the next stage. So bootstrapping or it's also known as self-financing. And if you use your own money, you usually try to be very conservative in your expenses. So you try to extend your dollars as much as you can. so you can find ways to avoid the need for external financing. And I've seen a lot of people that do that, that they use their own money and they try to cover all the bases. And instead of buying a new piece of equipment, they buy a used one that still has life on it. They have some issues with that, because that if it was a new piece of equipment, they could offer that as a guarantee through the bank to borrow additional funding. But I understand and I respect their decision. So many entrepreneurs do this bootstrapping because they have to, because they don't want to take on additional debt initially. They're testing the waters to see how cold or how hot it is before they jump in fully into the pool. And as they think startups, they also think of ways that they can mitigate some of those cash costs. And bootstrapping is not a substitute for planning. So before you get into the game of uh, starting your own business, you need to plan and consider the market and consider the get in the frame of mind of the customer to see if they will like what you're trying to sell, whether it's a product or a service. When you're dealing with sources of equity financing, you have crowdfunding, which is a way to raise money for an individual or organization by collecting donations through family, friends, friends of friends, strangers, and businesses through a funding platform. When I was in college in Puerto Rico, we used to call that let's make a serrucho. So everybody put some money together, and then we take that pot of money, and that's what we used to go buy the beer and all the fixings for the things that we wanted to do, especially if we were going to the beach. But for a business, you need to convince others to give you something of value so that you can turn that into cash to grow your business. We have angel investors. Uh, this doesn't refer to money coming in from the heavens, although some people think that money comes in from the heaven. So this is a type of equity financing that includes investors, usually family members or close friends of the business owners or wealthy individuals or groups who extend financing for businesses as angel investors, and the amount invested by those angels is usually less than $500,000, because they may have some money that they're not using, and they believe in you and they want to help you. So we have venture capital professional and seasoned investors, and those are very selective about investing only in well managed companies with strong competitive advantage in their particular industry. Venture capitalists believe in actively managing the companies they stay invested in. It helps them maintain a strong watch on the business uh, day-to-day activities and implement measures to maximize the return on their investment. A venture capitalist typically invest an amount above $1 million, and venture capitalists usually invest in a business at the starting stage and eventually exit the investment by converting the firm into a public company by placing the shares on sale at a securities exchange through initial public offering, just like SpaceX is getting ready to do with their initial public offering. So we have private equity, and private equity describes investment partnerships that buy and manage companies before selling them. Private equity firms operate these investment funds on behalf of the institutional and accredited investors. Um, so there are many ways that you can get dollars from external investors. So the investors typically look for business potential. They want to see what's the return on the investment. So they are going to be looking very closely at the numbers that you present to them. So before you go to an investor, you need to make sure that your numbers make sense. And I do recommend that you take advantage of the resources that we have within the SBA resource partners so they can do the sanity check on those dollars. Um, you need to have a strong management team. You need to have a business structure and a solid business plan, a reason to invest, and in many cases, depending on how long you have been in business, you may need an exit strategy. I don't recommend that you tell the investor right off the bat that you're looking at exiting the business because that may turn them off because they may think that they're not going to be together with you for a long period of time. Usually they are with you 3 to 4 years and then they want to pull out and sell or allow someone else to run the company. Lenders typically look for the business plan, collateral, the cash injection. They're looking for good credit scores, stronger than 700 points in the FICO score. They're looking for 3 years, up to 3 years of financial projections. They're looking for your personal tax returns, uh, your personal and business info, and then they use the 5 C's of credit to evaluate credit worthiness. Um, so credit is super important for you because it shows patterns. And if you um, don't manage your personal credit correctly, then whoever is going to lend you the money, they're going to see your personal credit score as an indicator how well you're going to manage those dollars once they put them in your hand. So uh, the, there are ways that you can improve your credit scores if you have time. So if you are in a situation that your credit score is impacted, please talk to one of our resource partners and they should be able to help you. And there are things that you can do. There's some entities, I believe it's Fannie Mae, that they have some classes that they offer where you can learn about templates that you can use to challenge those entries in your credit report. It takes time. And of course, you have to manage your expenses. You can't just max out your credit card. You can only use, if you have $10,000 credit limit, they want to see you at either at or below 30% commitment in your credit card so that you become a good risk for them. If you exceed that, then your credit score is going to take a hit and they may have some questions. Anything on your business plan, credit score, personal credit, and your basic history, you have an opportunity to explain that to the lender, so to help them understand what happened. And if you have collections because someone in your family, for example, had a medical situation and you had to spend a lot of time and money in a hospital bill, explain it away. There may be some lenders that are more lenient than others, and they may be able to work with you. Okay, so SBA, as I mentioned, doesn't have any grants. You can check on grants.gov, or if you use AI or go to your favorite search engine like Google, you will find many large businesses that have foundations and they offer monies or grants throughout the year because given a grant allows them to make their Community Reinvestment Act responsibilities, and also helps them improve their social standing and the community. So if you look at the at a Bank X Foundation or a Disney X Foundation, there may be some grant monies sitting in there. This year, SBA has put stricter guidelines for lending And for example, we cannot lend to green card holders. We can only lend to U.S. citizens, and that's something that if we have anyone that is a green card holder in the call, unfortunately, SBA, if you try to apply for an SBA loan program, you're going to be told that we cannot help you. More than likely, you will need some equity injection for startup financing, so you need to inject some money into the equation. Credit, of course, as I mentioned, is going to be very history. And the rates that are offered with an SBA loan or a conventional loan are usually directly proportional to your credit profile. So the stronger your credit profile, the lower the rate it will be. The weaker your credit profile, the more expensive that loan is going to be. So discuss this with your SBA resource partner. If you meet with them and they can run the numbers on your package, they can review it, they can do a sanity check, they can help you fine tune your financial proposals. And they can also discuss strategies so that you can pitch your ideas to the lender and help you. Perhaps they know lenders, they know other individuals, they have access to capital, they know angels that can help you get the funding that you need. So when looking for capital, you need to address the 5 C's of credit in your business plan. So the character is one that the lenders are going to do a background check on you when you submit your application. So they're going to go through your credit score, your payment history, personal and business credit, and they're going to see how well you manage your credit capacity in the past. You need to show that you have capacity to repay all the debts from the cash flow of the business if it's an existing business or if you're buying an existing business. You need to, depending on the amount of money, if the loan usually with the SBA, if it exceeds $150,000, you need to be able to show collateral to be able to secure the loan. You still need to do a personal guarantee, your signature guaranteeing the loan, but they will ask for collateral. And again, this is a situation where if you're married, you need to make sure that your spouse is on board with you being able to sign your home as collateral if you're looking for money for that idea. So your spouse needs to be on board. If she's not on board, and if you don't run this by her or him, uh, that may derail your dream and put a stop to it. How much of your own money are you planning to invest in the business? How much capital you plan to invest? And of course, the conditions. Right now, we have this situation where the cost of fuel seems like it changes daily. I mean, I was watching the news this morning and gas prices were down, and the day before they went up, and tomorrow they may go down again or may go up. I don't know. But that may impact the cost of your product or service, especially if your product is coming from outside the U.S. or if your product has to be moved to other locations. And that's something that you need to be able to address in your business plan so that you can have the ability to explain that you are in control. So this goes into the 5 C's. The character refers to the borrower's credit history and the reputation for honoring financial obligations. Lenders will assess the borrower's track record of repaying debts, including any past delinquencies or defaults. A good credit score and a history of responsible financial behavior enhance the borrower's character. So you should pull your own credit report to see if there are any mistakes or errors. You can get a free credit report by going to that address in there, annualcreditreport.com, and you can pull that, and then you can see yourself if your score is strong enough. A good score, the higher the better. If it's above 670, I've been told by some banks that they can work with that, but it's a bad score below 670 or lower, or collections, they may not work, or they may ask for a lot of explanations on your part what happened, because they need to understand if you're a good risk or not for their institution. So free credit report, take advantage of that. So if your credit score is low, it could be due to errors on your credit, which can be they can negatively impact your credit score and potentially affect your ability to secure credit for favorable interest rates. So if there are mistakes on your credit report, contact the credit bureau, document, and challenge. And before you apply for a loan, please take a look at your credit report so that you can anticipate the score. And when the lender asks you, do you have a good score or not? Then you can say, yeah, my score is around 685. And that will give them an idea if you fall in the sweet spot for the specific institution that you're trying to do business with. The next 5C of credit is capacity. This relates to the borrower's ability to repay the loan. Lenders evaluate the borrower's income, employment stability, and debt-to-income ratio to determine if they have sufficient cash flow to meet their financial obligations. A borrower with a steady income and a low debt burden is considered to have a strong capability. In other words, it's a good candidate for the financial institution. When assessing the capacity and cash flow of an existing business, lender look at various factors to determine the ability to generate sufficient cash flow. Includes financial statements, cash flow analysis, revenue and sales, industry comparison, etc., etc. And when evaluating cash flow for a new business, lenders typically use different metrics and assessments. They look at the business plan, the management team, the financial projections, the startup cost, and the industry and market analysis. And if you work with the resource partners, they can run those KPI numbers to make sure that your plan is as close as possible to what a good low risk proposal would be. So the next C of credit is collateral. Collateral represents the assets that can be pledged as security for the loan. Lenders consider the type and value of collateral offered by the borrower, as it serves as a secondary source of repayment in case of default. Collateral can include real estate, vehicles, inventory, or other valuable assets. Florida, for example, will not take a gold nugget or a diamond as collateral because the lenders are not geared to do that. But in other states, that may be a possibility. The next C of credit is capital and refers to the borrower's assets and net worth. Lenders assess the borrower's financial resources, including savings, investments, and other valuable assets. Having a significant amount of capital indicates that the borrower has a financial cushion and may be more likely to repay the loan. And then finally, the last C of credit is conditions. Conditions include external factors that may impact the borrower's ability to repay the loan. Lenders evaluate the purpose of the loan, prevailing economic conditions, industry trends, and other relevant factors. For example, a borrower seeking a loan for a business expansion in a declining industry may pose higher risk compared to a borrower in a growing industry. So you need to be able to address that in your business plan. So this slide shows some of the financial documents that you will need, and I will bypass this. This presentation can be made available. All you have to do is send an email to the host of the event today, to Luis or to the dynamic CDC, or you can send an email directly to me, jose.ramos@sba.gov, and I can forward copy to you. So in this slide, the bottom line is you need to focus on your personal and business credit, and you need to have cash flow if you're buying an existing business. And SBA Resource Partners can help you get your financial documents analyzed and ensure that you have all the right ingredients to be able to be successful. So the SBA loan misnomer, because it's they call it an SBA when in reality a loan, because in reality we're not doing the loan, we're offering a guarantee. The bank that participates is the one that offers or issues the loan. And if there's a default, we pay for the loan up to the percentage of guarantee that we agreed on, and then we can service the loan or do whatever is necessary to ensure that the government is repaid. Why are the SBA loans more affordable? Well, we can give you longer terms. At the end of the day, this is a good product that was created to help individuals that don't have enough credit, or maybe they pose higher risk to the institution, but they still a good risk within the SBA service underwriting criteria. But one thing that I'm going to tell you is that do the numbers. An SBA product may be more expensive to you if, even though we give you a longer period to repay, it may be a little bit more expensive, and that's something that bothers you. Then you need to run the numbers. This chart here shows the loan guarantee programs that are available, and I can share this if you email me, jose.ramos@sba.gov, and I will send this. But we have 3 buckets. One bucket called the 7A loan, and it includes multiple programs and subsets. We have the 504 loan, and then we have a bucket for microloans. Depending on your need, that's why you need to know how much money you're going to need. You may need less than $50,000, so therefore you fall in the microloan bucket. You don't need to go and do an application for a 7A loan. I don't have a problem if you do that, but you can go directly through an entity that participates with us that is a microlender, and they can probably move a lot faster. So we also offer, as I mentioned at the beginning, disaster loans. These are only available when there's a declared disaster declaration, and the products are offered as part of that declaration. So you have to go to sba.gov/disaster, look up your location and a specific date, and then depending on the specific disaster that you are trying to apply, you need to read the declaration, and we'll spell out the product available, the interest that is assigned, because the interest is different depending on the disaster declaration. And these loans are up to 30 years, and you can request assistance also from the resource partners. And but at the end of the day, remember that these are loans; these are not grants. SBA does not give grants. Everything that we do, we expect that you are going to repay back to the government, because we need to recoup those dollars. So here we show the permissible use of the funds. My side note here is do not use the funding for vacations to Hawaii, because if you do that, you're gonna fall in the bad boy or the bad girl list. But and we've had some issues with individuals that have been referred to investigations because they have misused the funding from the get-go. If you want to ensure that your loan application has a high rate of success, you have to find a lender that has appetite, that has the money, and that is willing to work with you. I've known some individuals that go to lenders and say, yeah, bring me the package, but they don't understand the industry very well. So that when it comes time for them to write an endorsement for the credit committee, their endorsement is lukewarm. So therefore, the credit committee doesn't feel that that individual is going to be able to run a successful business, and they don't get the funding support that they're looking for. Now, if you work with the resource partners that are identified in there, you can ensure that your plans are as accurate as possible. And they may know lenders that have helped individuals in the same industry that you are trying to get funded, and they may be able to help you get the funding. But ideally, if you need to use our SBA lender match system, because it's an electronic matching program, it's free of charge for you. And it works like an eHarmony system where you go in there, you enter a profile, create a profile, you describe your business, and then you get matched to lenders that have monies. They want to learn, they want to lend, but they need to understand what is it that you need and how much money you think you're going to need. So when you create your profile in Lender Match, you need to give us much information. You need to give us an amount, and that amount needs to be supported by the business plan. And you need to explain, and then the lenders will actually respond back to you. Usually, as I said, 48 to 72 hours, and you'll get 4 or 5 lenders that really understand your business very well. They understand the industry. They have recent activity, and they have an appetite to give you the funding. And that's the easiest way to get connected to a lender. Otherwise, you'll be knocking on doors. You'll be kissing a lot of ugly babies. You'll be wasting your time unnecessarily to get to the same point that you would have gone if you use Lender Match in 72 hours. But the decision is yours. So you can go and knock on as many doors as possible. And if you need less than $50,000, we have the SBA microloan program, and we have 3 lenders identified in that slide that they service pretty much the whole state of Florida. Black Business Investment Fund, Ascendus, and then we have a lender that only services Central Florida, a number of Central Florida counties. It's called Lend Dreams. We have a venture capital program that's called SBIC, Small Business Investment Capital Program. And as I mentioned before, when I was talking about the type of equity organizations, the venture capitalists are very selective. They only play in specific industries, and they want to get their monies repaid at ASAP, like 3 to 4 years. But the program is available, and the SBA administration is pushing for more SBIC visibility, because that may be an option that is available for individuals that need funding. And you may be one of those that can take advantage of that. If you have something innovative, an invention that you can sell to the federal government, you may want to visit sbir.gov, because the Small Business Innovative Research and the Small Business Technology Transfer Program, research program, they may be able to help you if you have something that you can provide to us. And the agencies usually carve out monies from their own budget. We are advocates. We advocate on behalf of the different agencies. And in Orlando, for example, there's a lot of companies that set up shop because they're looking for SBIR money from the Department of Defense and other agencies that have an unlimited appetite for new products, especially if you can support the Department of War. If you have a construction business and you need bonding, the SBA can help you as well because we have a surety bonding guarantee program, and we can do bid bonds, payment bonds, performance bonds, and ancillary bonds. So that information is all available. And once you get the send an email to Jose.Ramos, I can send you this presentation to you, and you can read all about it and ask any questions. And then we also do franchise financing. So if you franchise, buying a franchise is the easiest way to get into business. If you buy an existing franchise that has already been hashed out and it's got all the details, they can do marketing for you. Customers know, but the customers expect the same experience. When you go to a McDonald's and you order a mac and cheese or whatever is it that they sell, the same experience that you get in Miami, you expect to get it in New York or California. So that's what makes the franchises different than a restaurant where the chefs they they add their own flavoring to it. So this is available, and then we can help you get there. If you're trying to franchise your business, we can help you as well. If you're looking for entities that can offer financing, the SBA can help you as well because we have some lenders and lender match that have finance franchises. So these slides, I'm going to go real quick. This is addressed in a supporting document that I want to provide. So when you email me for the copy of the presentation, I'll send you the checklist of documents. I'll send you information about lender match, and I will send you a list of all the loan programs that we have available so that then you can take a few minutes to read, and then you select the product that you think is going to fit your needs. This is page 2 that I already covered. I mentioned that we have 2 SBA district offices in Florida. I work for the Jacksonville office. I'm the red dot in the middle of the state. I'm a one-person show, and I cover about 8 or 9 counties. So I'm not always here, but I'm always available electronically. I answer my emails on a regular basis within 24 hours or less time. And I have a electronic monitoring device, which is called an SBA phone, that ties me into everything that the agency is doing. I work for the North Florida district, and that's the address for our information. It's useful to visit because you may find training sessions that are being offered by them. And then the South Florida district also has their own district website. And Aline Fernandez, who may be in the room, she works for the South Florida district office, and Dynamic CDC is within spitting distance of the district office, that's what I've been told. So we do have all our resources online. You'll get when you get these slides, you'll get the name and the direct phone number for my lender relations specialists, and they are the ones who train the banks to make sure that the banks understand what SBA is all about regarding access to capital. And then we collect feedback. So when you do this feedback session, it goes directly to the district so they know that we are doing our programs to the best of our ability. And if we're missing something, please let us know, and then we'll be glad to give you the information that you're seeking. So now I turn the presentation back to the host, and I thank you all for participating. And if you have any questions, I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time and your expertise, Jose. But I think Aline has the microphone open.
I do. Hi. Thank you, Ed. What a great presentation. That was some great information. I did want to share, let me see if I can Turn on my camera here now. Awesome. So hello, everybody. I did want to share some great information for your members. As you know, America is celebrating its 250th anniversary this year. Happy birthday, America. And part of that great celebration, the SBA is doing something that's called the Patriot Pitch. And I know that Ed mentioned no grants and we don't have that, but we do have some free money. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about this program. The deadline for this program is June 10th, so it's about 2 weeks away from today exactly. Every single small business can potentially apply. And each district office, so Ed would have small businesses in his area applying. We would have small businesses in our South Florida office applying, and throughout our entire region. And so, the way that it works is that Atlanta, Florida, Georgia, all of the offices within a region get to pick one. Oh, thank you, Ed. And within that, the region picks one. And so you get 10 finalists that get announced in July. And then sometime in September, the 5 finalists get announced and they get to go to DC, and there's just a huge party. And so I just wanted to share this great opportunity. And so it is a $1 million cash pool. The first runner-up, I know, gets $400,000, and then I'm not sure how the other ones work exactly. But the reality is there is also a pitch sample that I have. So if you didn't get it this morning, because I sent it out to all the chambers, Louis, I'll make sure that I send it to you so that you can send it to your members. Each business have to apply with the district that they belong to. So my email has the South Florida box, but in the main pitch information where it says submit your pitch, you can pick North Florida, or you can pick Puerto Rico if somebody's in Puerto Rico. Everyone has, the point is that the small business has to apply where it is that their business is located. The other thing that I will mention is that there is a little bit of eligibility requirements, and so I'm just gonna give a couple kind of, there is, you have to be 3 years in business, have to have a gross revenue of $100,000, have to have benefited from the SBA capital products. So whether it includes PPP, it includes, any of our 7A, 504 loans, right? And then you have to be in good standing, right? So you can't owe any money to any federal agency, not the IRS, not no one. They have to be obviously in the U.S., 100% owned by a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident. And then really have to be innovative in their sector, and it can be in any sector, right? So and then have to be available, obviously, because then the top 5 finalists are going to have to pitch live, in DC sometime in September. So I thought that this is, what a great way to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. If you don't apply, you get an automatic no. So, it doesn't hurt. So I just wanted to share that information with a group. And like I said, I will share an email with a lot of this content to you. So I won't take up more of your time because I know we're past 18 minutes past the hour.